Good morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. This is a Sputnik News article, and it's interesting. I don't believe it. I'll say that first off. But apparently, an Israeli paper claims to have details of the U.S. deal of the century for the Middle East. Now, I don't believe this. I'll start off by saying, and there's a lot of details there that we haven't heard before. I'll start off by saying that this doesn't seem to add up with all the other information coming out of Kushner, all the other leaks over the last couple of weeks and months that we've seen. And there's quite a bit of detail here, which makes me think that this is completely bogus. But let's have a quick look at it. Trump and his administration have been working on a so-called deal of the century, but few details have been leaked. It says Israel's Hayam newspaper claims to have obtained a draft of the American deal of the century. To resolve the conflict between Israel and the so-called state of Palestine. So according to the newspaper, the deal will suggest the creation of a Palestinian state. And remember, Kushner's been saying that, I think he pretty much said that there isn't going to be two states. It's not a two-state solution peace plan. But nonetheless, regardless, this is what the article is saying. The document doesn't specify the political nature of a new state, but indicates that democratic elections will be held within a year after its creation, with each Palestinian receiving the right to cast a vote. At the same time, Israeli settlements will remain under Tel Aviv's control, with the addition of several other settlements. Israel Hayam didn't specify the settlements, what settlements will be added. Both Israel and the New Palestine, they're calling it, will use Jerusalem as their capital. So interesting, but boy, I haven't really seen anything about, a two-state suggestion coming out. However, the city will not be divided, it says, but instead be shared by both states. Jerusalem will still be controlled by Israeli Jerusalem municipality, but New Palestine will handle education, paying municipal taxes in return. The purported U.S. deal said that the status quo in handling the holy sites will remain in its current state. Interesting. Jerusalem's Arab population will reportedly become full-fledged citizens of New Palestine, as opposed to the existing statement of permanent residency documents. What is more, it says, Israeli citizens won't be eligible to buy homes of Palestinians and vice versa. So very, very strange. And a lot of, political and a lot of laws would have to be put in place for this. Another very strange one, look at this. According to the alleged deal, the Gaza Strip's borders with Israel and Egypt will be open to the flow of goods and citizens. Okay, that makes sense. What is more, it says a 30-meter high bridge connecting the Gaza Strip and the West Bank will be built. Half of the bridge's construction will reportedly be funded by China, while the other half will be equally funded by South Korea, Australia, Canada, US, and EU. So, very strange. A 30-meter high bridge connecting the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Again, something I've never heard of, and something that, to me, doesn't quite make a lot of sense, but okay. Israel Hayam indicated, citing the document, that Egypt will lease New Palestine's lands near Gaza Strip within 5 years of the state's creation. The last is suggested to serve as a base. So here we see the first comment on a timeline, 5 years. So what we're looking for is, a 7-year timeline, because that would be what the Bible dictates is going to be the hallmark of whatever the peace treaty is, the peace deal that the Antichrist pushes forward. So we see 5 years there, but that's related to apparent leasing of the land there. The new American deal suggests that the New Palestine will not have an army, with police will not have any army, with police being the only force armed with light weaponry. The document suggests that New Palestine and Israel will ink a defense deal, with the latter ensuring protection of the former from external aggression, and will be paid in return. So apparently, the Israeli army effectively keeping the peace, and that sounds to me like what they did originally when they went in with their army, effectively occupied it and kept the peace there, and there was peace, and the Palestinians, the people of Gaza, actually preferred when the IDF controlled it and kept the peace. So that piece of it could make a lot of sense if Israel actually wants to do it. But of course, Israel's going to need to be paid for it. At the same time, the alleged deal will demand all Hamas personnel give up their weapons. Both Hamas and Israel will release their prisoners one after the elections, 1 year after, rather, the elections of the new Palestine. The deal will reportedly suggest dividing the planned $30 billion investments needed for national projects in New Palestine for the first 5 years between the U.S., EU, and Gulf states, with the latter paying 70% as they will allegedly be the main beneficiary. So money is the big basic carrot on the stick there. What is notable, the allegedly leaked document indicates that the U.S. will be ready to cancel all of its funding to the party, which violates the signed deal, but be it Hamas or even Israel. So again, something there written by the U.S., where the U.S. would be ready to cancel all of its funding to the country that violates the deal. Is Trump really writing on paper that he's going to cancel funding, any sort of funding to Israel if they violate the deal? I find that hard to believe. Interesting. The newspaper indicates that many of the points in the document resonate with statements by Trump's Jared Kushner, while at the same time it contradicts some of the previous leaks. Exactly what I was saying. It doesn't really line up with all the previous commentary related to this deal. But nothing's been confirmed yet. We don't really have a lot of detail. Kushner's been really vague on his details around it. The deal of the century is supposed to become a solution to the conflict between the Palestinians and Israelis, which began with the creation of the Jewish state in 1948. So, interesting. A lot of supposed details there, but a lot of details that don't quite add up to me. That the U.S. would write into it, and none of this really corresponds and agrees with a lot of the details that are already out, and that's really what the statement is saying. That it's not really lining up with existing statements. It indicates that the document it contradicts, while at the same time it contradicts many of the previous leaks. So I don't know. You read it here first. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you saw this article otherwise. But we're gonna see what pans out here, and we're only waiting. It's less than a month now. They're gonna release it in June. It's May 9th as of the recording of this video. So let's see. It's gonna be fascinating to see what this has, and is there any reference to a 7-year deal of some sort, a 7-year timeline, and will it divide Jerusalem? Will it divide Israel anymore? And if so, woe to the country that presents it, obviously the U.S., if they're then try to divide Israel and Jerusalem more significantly. So I'll leave there, guys. Thanks for watching. Read the article. It's interesting. I think it's way out in left field in terms of what has already come out. But as always, we never know. We won't know until June. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll leave there, and we'll see you guys in the next video.